Top to bottom, Stanley Cup winning Blues a masterclass in perseverance. Last August, Ryan O'Reilly stood in front of reporters at the annual end of Summer Bios Teal Camp in Toronto and, with a grin, joining his street. Louis Blues in the possibility of lining up alongside Vladimir Tarasenko widened his eyes. The Blues, the interaction seemed harmless, a predictable display of optimism from a guy who'd hit a wall playing for the rebuilding Buffalo Sabres and now found himself in a pretty cushy situation. Just a few months now, some 10 months later, O'Reilly is indeed a Stanley Cup champion. He's the profanity video by Sports Illustrated. For the first time in their 52-year history, the Blues are on top of the world. Prior to Wednesday, the City of Street. Louis hadn't General Manager Doug Armstrong deserves a round of applause for his commitment to the master plan. Not only did nobody, not even Armstrong, expected much of Jordan Binnington coming into training camp, but the fourth string, and how about Maroon? He signed a 1-year. Jay Bouwmeester is a shadow of his prime-time self, but he's now a Cup champion. It took him fired by the Philadelphia Flyers in 2015, Craig Berube sat out the entire next season before finding himself behind the bench of the Chicago Wolves to start the 2016-17 campaign. When he replaced, let's not forget the long list of other memorable stories. Jaden Schwartz's heavy heart, having lost his hockey-playing sister Mandy to cancer in 2011. Chris Thorburns, examining the NHL market of street. Louis threw a league. Forget the officiating controversies, Columbus upset over Tampa Bay, the record-tying number of Game 7s, the suspensions, all of it, forget it. The team sitting third is Thescor's national hockey writer. Copyright 2019 Score Media Ventures Incorporated. All rights reserved. Related slide show the Stanley Cup Finals provided by M&A.
Raindrop, drop top smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park pot.